You know that feeling when you're sitting at your desk, staring at a task that should take 15 minutes, but your brain feels like it's moving through molasses? You tell yourself, just push through it. Force yourself to focus. But the harder you try, the more your mind wanders. And before you know it, 3 hours have passed and you've accomplished nothing. If this sounds familiar, you're not experiencing regular procrastination. You're dealing with something called energy procrastination, and everything you've been told about fighting it is probably making it worse. I'm Tony, and I've spent years studying why some of us can't seem to just do it when we're running on empty. Today, we're going to explore a truth that might surprise you. Sometimes, the most productive thing you can do is rest. Not collapse on the couch rest, but something called productive restand. It might be the game changer you never knew you needed. Picture this. You're a phone at 15 battery. Someone keeps handing you demanding apps to run. What happens? You slow down, you glitch, you eventually shut down completely. That's energy procrastination in a nutshell. It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's your brain's way of saying, I need fuel, not force. Let's start by understanding what's actually happening in your head when you hit that wall. When your brain is exhausted, it literally changes how it functions. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, focus, and self-control, basically goes offline. Meanwhile, your limbic system, which handles emotions and survival instincts, takes over. Think of it like this. When you're tired, your brain switches from CEO mode to security guard mode. The security guard's job isn't to make strategic decisions or tackle complex projects. It's to keep you safe, which means avoiding anything that feels overwhelming or demanding. Here's where it gets interesting. Sleep debt isn't just about feeling drowsy. Research shows that even mild sleep deprivation can reduce your cognitive performance by up to 40. Chronic stress floods your system with cortisol, which literally shrinks the part of your brain responsible for working memory and planning. And if you have ADHD or executive dysfunction, well, you're playing this game on expert mode. Your brain already has to work twice as hard to maintain focus and manage tasks. When you add fatigue to the mix, it's like trying to run a marathon with ankle weights. But here's what most productivity gurus won't tell you. Your brain isn't broken. It's actually working exactly as it should. When you feel that resistance, that pull toward distraction, that's not failure, that's information. Your brain is telling you something important. So what do most of us do when we hit this wall? We double down. We grab another coffee. We set stricter deadlines. We try to willpower our way through, and it backfires spectacularly. Pushing harder when you're already depleted is like flooring the gas pedal when your car is overheating. You're not going to go faster, you're going to blow the engine. Studies from Stanford University show that when we ignore our brain's signals for rest, we don't just get less done, we actually make more mistakes, have poorer judgment, and take longer to recover. It's called the effort-reward imbalance, and it's a fast track to burnout. I learned this the hard way. I used to pride myself on being the person who could power through anything. Tired, coffee, overwhelmed, more discipline, burnt out. Obviously, I just needed better time management. Until one day, I found myself staring at a simple email for 2 hours. 2 hours. For an email that should have taken 5 minutes. That's when I realized I wasn't being productive. I was being stubborn. And there's a difference. The signs of burnout aren't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just feeling mentally foggy, like you're thinking through cotton. Sometimes it's that creeping sense of dread when you look at your to-do list. Or maybe it's the way tasks that used to feel manageable now feel insurmountable. Your body gives you signals too. Headaches, tension in your shoulders, that weird tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep. These aren't character flaws, they're your internal warning system. So here's the revolutionary idea. What if instead of fighting your low energy, you worked with it? What if the solution isn't more force, but strategic rest? This is where productive rest comes in. And no, I'm not talking about scrolling through your phone or binge watching Netflix. Productive rest is intentional, restorative, and here's the key: it actually recharges your cognitive batteries. Think of it like this. Regular rest is like putting your phone on standby. Productive rest is like actually plugging it in to charge. There are different types of productive rest, and they serve different purposes. Active rest might be a gentle walk, some light stretching, or even just changing your environment. The goal isn't to zone out, it's to give your prefrontal cortex a break while engaging different parts of your brain. Then there's restorative rest. This could be a 20-minute power nap, some mindfulness practice, or even just sitting quietly with your thoughts. Research from NASA shows that a 26-minute nap can improve performance by 34 and alertness by 100. Creative rest is another powerful tool. This might be doodling, listening to music, or engaging in any activity that feels playful and unstructured. It's amazing how often solutions come to us when we stop trying to force them. Here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. A software developer I know was stuck on a coding problem for 3 days. 3 days of staring at the screen, Googling solutions, growing more frustrated by the hour. Finally, his girlfriend convinced him to take a walk with her. 20 minutes into the walk, while watching a dog chase a frisbee, the solution hit him like lightning. He rushed home, implemented it in 10 minutes, and it worked perfectly. That's the power of productive rest. It's not giving you, it's giving your brain the space it needs to do its best work. Now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked: the role of nutrition in preventing burnout. Your brain uses about 20 of your body's total energy, and when you're running on empty, it's usually the first thing to suffer. Think about it. When you're stressed or tired, what do you reach for? Probably coffee, sugar, or processed snacks. These give you a quick spike in energy, but they're followed by a crash that leaves you feeling worse than before. Instead, try what I call brain-friendly fuel. Protein-rich snacks like nuts, Greek yogurt, or hard-boiled eggs provide steady energy without the crash. Complex carbohydrates like oatmeal or whole-grain toast give your brain the glucose it needs to function optimally. And here's something most people don't realize. Dehydration, even mild dehydration, can reduce cognitive performance by up to 12. Sometimes what feels like brain fog is actually just thirst. I started keeping a water bottle on my desk and setting reminders to drink from it every hour. It sounds almost too simple, but the difference in my mental clarity was remarkable. Now, if you have ADHD or executive dysfunction, energy procrastination can feel especially brutal. Your brain already has to work harder to filter distractions and maintain focus. When you add fatigue to the mix, it's like trying to drive with the emergency brake on. But here's the thing: the strategies that work for neurotypical brains might not work for you. And that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay, it's important information. People with ADHD often have what researchers call variable attention. This means your focus isn't consistently high or low, it fluctuates throughout the day. Instead of fighting this, you can learn to work with it. Try mapping your energy levels for a week. Notice when you feel most alert, when you hit that afternoon slump, when your brain feels sharpest. This isn't about judging yourself, it's about gathering data. Once you know your patterns, you can start to match your tasks to your energy levels. Save your most demanding work for your peak hours. Use your low energy times for easier tasks or, yes, productive rest. And here's a crucial point: rest isn't earned. You don't have to prove your worth before you're allowed to recharge. Rest is a basic human need, not a luxury for the lazy. So what does this look like in practice? How do you actually stay productive during low energy phases without forcing yourself into burnout? First, let's talk about task categorization. Not all tasks require the same level of mental energy. High-energy tasks might be writing, problem-solving, or creative work. Medium-energy tasks could be organizing, responding to emails, or routine administrative work. Low-energy tasks might be filing, light cleaning, or reviewing materials you've already written. The key is to have a variety of tasks ready for different energy levels. When you're running on fumes, don't try to tackle your most challenging project. Instead, pick something from your low energy list. You'll still be productive, but you won't be fighting your brain's natural rhythms. I keep 3 different Toto lists, one for high energy days, one for medium energy days, and one for low energy days. When I'm feeling drained, I don't look at my high energy list at all. It's not available to me. This removes the temptation to overextend myself and eliminates the guilt of not doing enough. Task batching is another powerful strategy. Instead of bouncing between different types of activities, group similar tasks together. Spend one block of time on emails, another on phone calls, another on creative work. This reduces what psychologists call task switching, costs the mental energy lost every time you change focus. And here's a game changer, the concept of good enough. When you're in a low energy phase, perfectionism isn't just unproductive, it's counterproductive. Give yourself permission to do things at 80 instead of 100. You can always polish later when you have more energy. Let me share some specific examples of low-energy tasks that can help you feel productive without depleting yourself further. Organizing your digital files, updating your calendar, reviewing notes from previous meetings, or even just clearing your desk. These tasks require minimal creative energy but still move you forward. You might also use low-energy time for planning. Review your goals, update your project timelines, or brainstorm ideas for future work. This isn't demanding in the moment, but it sets you up for success when your energy returns. Now, let's talk about building sustainable, energy-friendly routines. The goal isn't to maximize every moment, it's to create a rhythm that supports your natural energy cycles. Start with your environment. Your workspace should support both focused work and restful breaks. This might mean having a comfortable chair for deep work, good lighting that doesn't strain your eyes, and a separate space where you can step away for a few minutes. Plants can make a real difference too. Research shows that even looking at greenery can reduce mental fatigue and improve focus. I have a small succulent on my desk, and just glancing at it occasionally helps reset my brain. Movement is crucial, but it doesn't have to be intense. Even a 5-minute walk around the block can shift your mental state. The key is to move before you feel completely drained, not after. Here's something that changed my life. I started treating transitions as sacred. Instead of rushing from one task to another, I give myself 2 minutes between activities. I might take a few deep breaths, stretch, or just sit quietly. This prevents the mental pileup that leads to overwhelm. Sleep hygiene is non-negotiable. I know you've heard this before, but it's worth repeating. Your brain literally cleans itself during sleep. That's not a metaphor. There is actually a physical process where your brain flushes out toxins and consolidates memories. If you're chronic sleep deprived, no amount of coffee or willpower will fully compensate. You're playing a losing game. Even small improvements in sleep quality can have profound effects on your energy and focus. Try creating a wind-down routine. This might be reading, gentle stretching, or even just dimming the lights an hour before bed. The goal is to signal to your body that it's time to shift into rest mode. And please, consider getting your sleep checked if you consistently wake up tired. Sleep apnea, for example, affects millions of people and can be treated. You don't have to accept exhaustion as your normal. Now, I want to address something important. When should you seek professional help? Sometimes, what feels like energy procrastination is actually a sign of something that needs medical attention. If you're consistently exhausted despite getting adequate sleep, if you're experiencing persistent brain fog, or if your energy levels have dramatically changed, it's worth talking to a healthcare provider. Conditions like thyroid disorders, depression, anxiety, or ADHD can all masquerade as simple tiredness. There's no shame in getting help. In fact, it's one of the most productive things you can do. I wish I had seen a therapist years earlier than I did. It would have saved me so much unnecessary suffering. If you suspect you might have ADHD, especially if you're a woman or if you made it through school successfully, don't dismiss the possibility. ADHD often looks different in adults than it does in children. and masking can hide symptoms for years. Having a name for what you're experiencing can be incredibly liberating. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation. And with explanation comes the possibility of targeted solutions. Here's what I want you to remember. Your brain is not your enemy. Those signals telling you to slow down, to rest, to step back, they're not signs of weakness, they're signs of wisdom. Your brain is trying to protect you, trying to sustain you for the long haul. The hustle culture tells us that rest is for the weak, that productivity is the ultimate virtue. But think about it. Is someone who burns out after 6 months really more productive than someone who maintains steady, sustainable output for years? You are not a machine. You are not meant to run at maximum capacity all the time. You have seasons, rhythms, cycles. Working with these natural patterns isn't giving up, it's growing up. Energy procrastination isn't a character flaw to fix. It's a signal to listen to. And productive rest isn't giving you, it's giving yourself what you need to succeed. The next time you feel that familiar resistance, that pull toward distraction, try pausing. Ask yourself, what is my brain trying to tell me? Do I need fuel? Do I need rest? Do I need to switch to a different type of task? Your energy is precious, it's finite. And how you manage it will determine not just what you accomplish, but how you feel while you're accomplishing it. So here's my challenge for you. For the next week, pay attention to your energy levels. Notice when you feel sharp and when you feel dull. Notice what activities drain you and what activities restore you. Don't judge it, just observe it. Then, start small. Pick one low-energy task for your next tired day. Try one form of productive rest. Give yourself permission to work with your brain instead of against it. And remember, you're not behind. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're human. And being human means having limits, having needs, having rhythms that deserve respect. In the comments below, share one thing you're willing to try this week. Maybe it's that 20-minute nap. Maybe it's organizing your tasks by energy level. Or maybe it's just giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. I'm Tony, and I believe that the most radical thing you can do in a world that demands constant productivity is to honor your humanity. Your story isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters in a way that sustains you. Come as you are, leave with something deeper.